Hey everyone. I was just gonna pop on at lunch today, just because I've got like an hour, and just take a little break. Just pull up my computer. I obviously left this out last night to dry because it took a while, so I'm just gonna go grab the backer that it was on. And with these backers, because it's so large, it's 12 by 18, it's easier just to like leave it with the sticky side up down, and then just set the backer on top. And then once you do that, just push it down. Oops. And I got a little fold in it, but just pop it back up and put it back down. There we go. All right. So it's ready for me to put back in plastic sleeve. And for some reason my computer's not coming right up. But I was just going to take one of my Valentine's ones and it would help if I turn my mouse on. Clean it up and then just put another wintry one on it. Okay, make sure I know where my sawtooth hangers are so that I'll be able to hang it on the wall again. And if anyone catches me on the live, go ahead and just hit like on the video or comment hello or whatever you're doing. Share the video if you can. And just pull up my page. So I'm just going to spray on some water. To clean it off, it doesn't have to be distilled or bottled water. It can just be regular tap water, but that's what I already have in my little thing. So just spray it on. This has been on here for, oh geez, a month or two? Over a month. Let's see if it's going live. There we go. It is going live. All right, awesome. All right, so I let that sit on for like 10-15 seconds, and then I'll take my little eraser and start to erase. I'm going to grab one of my new erasers that just came in. Because I was using the magic eraser, but just a single basic magic eraser doesn't last as long. It just doesn't last as long. It ends up like this one I tore apart on steak. I mean, it still has the texture and stuff to it, so they're perfectly fine to use, but it is worth spending like 50 cents more for one of the nice chocolate tour erasers, which I wasn't sure, but I tested it out to see what lasts longer, and these definitely last a lot longer. Okay. Over there, and they come in packages of 2. Okay, so I've got that on there. If you have a scraper, I don't have a scraper, but if you have a scraper, you can like scrape it up. I just take the eraser and just go for it. And just start swirling it around. And as you can see, it's coming right up. It's on the eraser, but that'll come out in the water. I stick it in the water bucket. I'm not pushing hard. I'm just basically swirling it around, and the water was only on there like, I don't know, 15 seconds, 20 maybe. So there we go. And it's just got like a little choppy mess behind it, but I've got my little water basin over here. I'll put it in and squeeze it out, and it'll empty it. So just from my water basin, which the water's now getting dirty, but I mean, it got a lot of it cleared right out. Then I'll just take a wet one and, while it's wet, to get the excess chalk off. And all off. I'm just going to rinse that out so it doesn't, so the color doesn't, if your eraser gets stained, it's not a big deal. It's not going to hurt it. It's still functional. And I'm just going to take one of my paper towels, because I want it, normally I could just let it dry. But I'm going to take a paper towel so I can put another one on it right away. all nice and dry. Easy, ready to go. I grabbed out one of the ones that I had in winter that I used a lot to use again. I'll make sure my sawtooth hanger is in the right direction so that I'll be able to hang it up. I'll be able to put it back on the nail. So I just take this one, I just keep changing it out for different seasons or whatever mood you're in. Or my Easter ones haven't gotten here yet, but then I'll start to change them out for Easter with flowers and bunnies and things like that. So this one, you can see I've used it a lot. I've used it a lot and used different sections of it. You can see that it is stained a little bit by the green paste that I had used on it. Doesn't hurt the transfer. As long as that mesh area is clear, you're good to go. And it's still really sticky. So you can see as I'm pulling it off. So I will still fuzz it up. That to the side. I'm still going to fuzz it up. Probably like 3 times maybe. It's about right. Since I've used it several times before, the first time you're using them, you want to do it more and more and more. And then, okay, and still feels pretty sticky. When I'm putting it back down here, if I were to go like this and I can't pull it off, if it sticks too much, fuzz it some more because it's still too sticky. It's going to be hard to get up when you get done. And just smooth it down, but I'm going to, because I've done this before, so I know it can be difficult to get back up because it's a little bit smaller than the frame. So I'm just going to take a stir stick and stick it under the corner. Under the corner here where it's not near anything. It's not going to hurt anything or interfere with what I'm doing. It's just going to make it easy for me to get a grip on it afterwards. I don't have to like use my fingernails or anything to get in there. This is a little trick that lots of people use. Alright, so I'm going to get my towel out of here. So I've got a little bit more room to work. And let's see, I'm probably going to use the green. And maybe I'll do the mittens in a yellow or blue. Got blue. So this one, because the mittens have a design on them, you can really get as detailed as you want. I mean, you could really get in there and get those X's different colors. Maybe I will do that. I've got the Chalk Couture teal too, which I like. So I'll just grab out a couple different colors that I like and just go from there. All right, so I've got Cold Hands, Warm Heart. Because I'm going to play around the colors and not just do it all in one color, I'm going to do a little section, kind of like I did with the general store last night. Do a little section, pull it up, give it a few seconds to dry a little bit so that it doesn't get stuck in that silk screen mesh. Because I'm going to take my time down here with the mittens and kind of do like a little different kind of color mixtures on them. And I'm just going to start out with the light blue for the Cold Hands. Maybe I'll grab like my raspberry for the Warm Heart. I'll just do tons of colors today. It's Friday. It's lunchtime. Grab my little stir stick, stir it up. I can now see the bottom of my Ocean Mist, which is like the baby light blue, because it's one of my favorites. Especially when I'm doing winter ones, because snow can, you know, have like that little like white, light blue kind of glow on it. Oh, and I forgot, I do have Shimmer Mist, or Shimmer Frost now, which is like a white glitter. I'm going to have to use that in part of it. Oh, hold on. Let me grab my white frost. I haven't even opened it yet. It just came in. It just got restocked at Christmas time. The white frost got completely sold out and it took forever to get back in, but it should be the new formula. Yep, it's got the new seal for the new formula. And then, of course, Valentine's Day, all the pinks sell out. And they just restocked them and they're selling out again. It's just because it's just that when it's a seasonal thing, that one color that everybody loves, like the Shimmer Frost looks like snow. That everybody wants to have it because there's Snowman one, and you know, just gives like that white glitter to anything, and you can mix it with any color to get a glittery color in that. I'm going to grab my little squeegee, and I'm just going to start with the Cold Hands. Cold Hands across. And if you're worried about doing different colors and them touching, It's not a huge deal if they touch. I'll do like a little bit of a ombre effect on this top part with the blue and the white. So you can kind of see what that's like. Being that I want to use my shimmer frost. All right. So I haven't opened this yet. It's got the new seal, which is a foam seal that you'll stick back in the lid. When you put it back on, you'll always keep it on there. What it does is it gives it an extra seal. So to help keep the air out from drying out the paste. Because the air is kind of like the enemy of the paste. And I'm just going to scrape the stuff off the lid to begin with because in transit, just like anything else, like I said, like a spaghetti jar or something, it gets stuck to the top when the jar tips to the side or anything. And of course in transit, whether it's the post office, FedEx, UPS, they use all of them. They just see who's picking up that day and what their timing is, and that's how they choose. Okay, so you can see I got the nice Ocean Mist Baby Blue Frost Shimmer, which it's a little bit hard to see the shimmer at this point, but so what I'm going to do to give it like an ombre effect where it goes from blue to white and there's like a little faded blue in the middle, I will just use my finger. Don't push down hard, really, really super lightly like you're barely touching it. And you can put the blue down into the frost or the frost up into the blue or both. And it's going to give you a color that's a mixture in between. Same kind of thing you can do on a paper plate, like one of these little trays or paper plate, and just take the colors you want and blend them together. If you have a color wheel or something and there's a color you don't have, it's an easy way to make it. Ooh, I just popped that out. All right. Okay. So as you can see, it just made like a little mixture in the middle. Got out my finger, but stick that in the water because it's just chalk paste, so it'll come right off. The shimmers are like super smooth and silky. And then I'm just going to take one of my squeegees and I'm just going to scrape off all that excess. And I'm going to put it onto a paper towel, or you can put it on a plate if you think you want to use another section in the same color. Because I'm not going to put it back in my jar, because what it will do is it basically contaminate the colors. You're getting two colors that are mixed together. Just make sure I got all the letter area. Right. And I'm just going to, before I get on to the leaves and the mittens, I'm just going to pull this up evenly. Make sure to do it evenly so you don't stretch your transfer. So I'm just going to hold it up for a few seconds to let it dry. I guess while it's doing that, I'll go ahead and I'll close up my blue and the frost probably. Because I can always open it up if I want to use it again. Ooh. So down here it looks a little bit grayish, but once I put it in the light so I can see it really well, it's a nice bright shimmery white. And if you're ever worried about laying it back down, you can always put a little stir stick or anything along the way, just to make sure that it's not, you know, if you're worried about it. If you're not worried about it, I mean, there's really not. It dries within like a minute or two. So if I was doing something, I could stop, you know, go check the mail out, the mailbox, and come back in, and I'm good to go. But for the sake of the camera, it's just a little easier to do it this way. And if you make a mess on your desk, not a big deal. It's water-based, so it just wipes right off. Okay, I'm gonna get some green out. And actually, I think I'll use my sage because it's a lighter green with a black background. That'll look pretty good. I'll stir it up and see if I need to, if it's the right consistency. The consistency should be like yogurt, basically. Cream cheese, you know, something like that. If it feels too thick, add a little water. If it's too runny, because it's too wet, just let it sit out with the lid off for a little while, and that'll suck up some of the moisture in it. But this is good to go. I can still see a little bit of water sitting on top of it because usually I spray a little water in before I close it up. All right, grab another squeegee. And with this one, I'm going to try to do just the greenery and not not the mittens area. So just where the like little pine branch is. I hear you, Lucy. If you can hear a cat talking, it's Lucy looking out the window talking to the birds. I don't know why she does it. We've never had a cat that just sits there and goes out the window to the birds. But for some reason, she quite enjoys it. Like, okay. I looked it up, and I guess it's pretty common. We've had cats for like 40 years. Well, my dad has had them since way before I was born, so over 60 years. And it's just weird. It's not like any of the cats that we've ever had. But we've always got, I don't know, we've always gotten kittens from other people that we've known. These ones I adopted from the shelter because nobody had kittens that they were giving away or anything in the local area at the time. So I just kept watching the shelter and went in and got a couple of them. But they are huge. Like the biggest cats I've ever had. Usually our cats are like perfect, I don't know. We've always keep the cat dish, the food dish, and the water dish full. But they just seem to be, they just eat when they feel like it. They're not overweight or anything. Okay. So I'll give that a second. I'll start on the mittens. I'm not going to close my green up yet because I did go kind of low with the green, so I might need to touch it up with some wet stuff before I pull the mittens off. Let's check the yellow. Grab a stir stick. Oh, my yellow is nice and creamy. So it really does help to, and anybody that orders now is pretty much going to get the new chalk formula, so you're not going to have to worry about it. But if you have any older pastes or if you buy any of the retired colors, they might be in the old formula where you just spray a little water before you close it up. Then the next time you go to use it, it's in perfect condition. So I'm just turning it around just so I can get a little bit of better grip on the mittens. All right, so how do I want to do this? I'm going to try to do the mittens all in yellow, but I'm going to try to leave like the little X's. See if I can do those in a different color. I feel like I could have done some kind of rainbow effect on them or something though. Let's see. So on the days I'm home, I might just pop on at lunchtime and just do one or two of them. It's kind of torture sitting here at home working. Well, I mean, if you're working remotely, it's great. I didn't have to go outside in the cold and stuff today. That's the best thing about working remotely in the winter. But then I've got all my stuff that I want to play with here. So I don't stop and play with it. But this way, if I do at lunchtime, it'll be more of a, I think I'll be less tempted to dive into it as soon as I get done work. So I'm just carefully going around, trying to get all the lines of the mittens in yellow so I can do the little X's as a different color in a design. Not sure how well you can see what I'm doing, but we've got some area. I'm going to open up my teal so I can start to do some of the little X's. And actually, because they're small, well, let's see. I'll grab another stir stick. My teal's actually getting pretty low too. This is one of the first ones I bought as a customer in a kit that Melissa had with a snowman and a big jar. I wasn't sure if I'd need a big jar, but I love having the big jar. It's just easier to use than the paste packets. But the paste packets are good if you're you know, if you just want to do one project that, you know, maybe if you're doing just the monthly subscription where you're doing like just one project or something a month or one project in different ways. The paste packets will get you lots of different colors that you can mix. But I could also put into, I've got some little jars, you know, if you ever done like the paint by number little jars, I've got those where I could like give you different samples to try different colors. And with my multi-tool, when I put it on this way, it's pretty much just like painting. It just feels, I don't know. The squeegee I feel a little bit closer and more in control with, even though this is the same size as that little mini squeegee I just used on the yellow. It just feels, I don't know, it just feels a little bit more like painting. And then my multi-tool has a squeegee that's like less than half the size of this one. I'm going to put a little bit more green, oops, on this area here just because I'm guessing it's getting pretty dry. Because I should have waited to do the lower part of the leaf and the bud until I was ready to pull up that section. So I'm just going to pull it up again. So this is one of the things that you have to do if you're going to mess around with multiple colors on a bigger one. Just because you don't want it to dry and stick and then have to go over it again. Second, and I'm just going to grab some more yellow and just finish off some little sections of the edge of the mittens so that I can get the rest of this pulled up and finished. Of course, this little squeegee that I have that I'm using now, this is just a mini that I cut in half. You can do that with any size squeegee that you want, depending on what you like using. And I'm trying not to let the colors touch, but they do touch. It's not a huge deal. I mean, anybody who's had knit mittens know that they're not perfect. If they look perfect, then they're probably done on a machine and not somebody actually crafting it themselves or sewing it and knitting it themselves. I hear you, Alice. I don't know what you're crying for. You guys just had a treat, so they just had treats, but I'm sure that they would love more treats. They always do. But they get a monthly subscription box. And it always has something with catnip in it. Always. One time it even had a little bottle of wine, and when I looked at it, it said non-alcoholic, but it was basically liquid catnip, which I have not given to them. I don't know if I'm ever going to give it to them. Lucy's pretty much fine with catnip. Alice goes catnip crazy. There we go. So I'm just going to toss this in my water basin so it can start to add water to the chalk on there, which basically helps dissolve it to make it easier to get off. So go ahead and just throw all my other stuff in my water basin to get it out the way. I didn't use that stir stick. And I'm going to spray some water in these so that the next time I go to use them, they should be in good condition as I close them up. And I didn't end up using my peach, but I can try my chalk markers that I haven't tried yet that I got. did get a little line here where the mittens meet, a little string that holds the mittens. But my detail tool has a sharp plastic end on it with a cap. And so you can basically go in and more or less erase anything that maybe went outside the edges, or you touched it, or you slid the transfer a little bit when you were taking it off. A Q-tip with water will also work. Will also work pretty well. So, cold hands, warm heart. And I know it's kind of hard to see that this is a light blue and that's the white frost. I'll try to take a better picture of it and post it so that you can see that the colors really are different and blended in. And my little mittens and leaf. Not bad. What else was I going to show you? I know I just said I was going to show you. Oh, I was going to try my chalk markers. So I've got a couple of... So, I mean, I've got these from... I'll show you what both do. You can get these at the dollar store. And I like them. They're not hard chalk. It's like a soft chalk. It's awesome. But you can just do anything on it. In different colors. Especially if you wanted to do a calendar or reminder board. You can just write different things on it. So, for example, with this green one, I just did a little heart. And then I'll grab out one of my chalk markers. So I've got a white one here. They come, this is a chalk Couture one, and it comes wrapped in plastic. It's definitely a different kind of chalk marker. It looks more like a felt tip pen. Take the plastic off that. And let's see, it is Shake Well. Water-based, recap after use. Pretty easy, simple. Oh, here's your little diagram. Shows you to go like this. Ooh. And then it just basically says to push down on it. I like to get the chalk inside of it down to the liquid, down to the bottom. So I'll try to do it like another. I gotta get it going, because I've never used it. Oh. Maybe shake it up some more. I have some other ones like this that aren't like, when I was in elementary school, we had things called highliners, where it's like silver, but along the edge of it, I haven't gotten this one started yet. It would have a different color around the outline of the silver. I have to play with that one some more because it is not starting up. Let's try this one. I mean, obviously this is black, so it's not going to show up on this chalkboard. But I want to see if it can get it going. Well, so that I can get back to work from lunch, I am going to stop there and see if I can get those working before tonight. I don't know why they're not working. There's probably like a trick to it or something. I've never used them before. But I know I've seen them in the stores. I've only ever had this kind that's like nice and soft to the touch. I have a calendar in the kitchen where I update things so I can remember when big events and stuff are coming up. All right, I'm gonna sign off and I will be back on tonight around 8. That's what I'm gonna do on the wood palette, the welcome to our porch sign on one side of it. And the other side, I don't know what I'm gonna do on the other side yet, but I'll be able to use both sides of it. I just have to decide what I wanna do on it. All right, have a great Friday, everybody. And those tuning in tonight, I'll see you around 8.